The second governor worth mentioning at this point, very significantly, is Haley Barbour, an older governor, a man who has served in many roles in the party. He's extremely attractive as a man who can raise money, who can get things done. He served as the chairman of the party at one point many years ago. He has since then been the governor of Mississippi. Most significantly, he's governor of Mississippi after the recovery of Katrina, starting 2005. And Haley Barbour, who's very well thought of in the party, represents the South in this field. And that's important only because the Republican Party needs to hold the South in order to be a player in the Electoral College. You have to think primary, but at the same time, when you think primary, you're looking ahead to the Electoral College. This is the way the professionals think about things. Haley Barbour's strength, and he talks about it all the time now, is the recovery that Mississippi has had from Katrina under his administration. It's significant that he's emphasizing jobs and recovery, because that's a national theme. He does not talk social issues, although being a Southern governor, that would be easy for him. The third governor to mention, and he is not a candidate at this point, but I believe he is a very strong candidate if he enters, is Mitch Daniels. He's the governor of Indiana. Mitch Daniels graduated Princeton the year after I did. He's Princeton 71, that makes him 62, and he's an older candidate. That's significant. Older candidates have different questions asked of them than younger candidates do. That is, can you be around again in 4 years? Is one of them. And right now, Mitch Daniels would have to say maybe not. So this would be a one-off against a sitting president. Mitch Daniels' strengths, however, are legion. This is a man who's been a political actor for many years, many decades. And his work is first-rate, well thought of. He was the political director for the second Reagan administration as a young man. And that meant that he was in the Karl Rove role for the Reagan White House. Now, because he has been with Ronald Reagan, that gives him great credentials and wonderful anecdotes to tell should he become candidate. Also great photographs. I'm told from the former speechwriter, for Ronald Reagan for many years, Anthony Dolan, that at one point, in order to have fun with Ronald Reagan, who was debating whether he should run for a second term, Tony Dolan had Mitch Daniels enter the Oval Office wearing a Richard Nixon tan-rested ready t-shirt to see if the president would comment. And Ronald Reagan sat there, according to this anecdote, and said not a word the whole time. And Mitch Daniels cracked not a smile, and they went through the whole thing. And afterwards, Ronald Reagan turned to his speechwriter, and this might be apocryphal, but it's a wonderful story, and said, "What was that t-shirt all about on the young Mr. Daniels?" so Mitch Daniels has a sense of humor, and he has party history, and that means a lot. You've got to raise money. And to raise money, it helps to have wonderful stories, such as the one I just told you. Now, Mitch Daniels is very attractive to the party as well, if he gets in. Those are the major candidates that I've just given you. One additional thing before I open to questions. Mitch Daniels, a year ago, in June of 2010, made a comment to the media. Why don't we call a truce, and I paraphrase, why don't we call a truce on social issues for the next cycle? At the time, he gained a lot of negative press for that, because what he was signaling is he doesn't want to get into the social issues in the Republican Party that have been the wedge issues for many cycles going back. The wedge issues, you recognize them as abortion, as gay marriage, as don't ask, don't tell, what Pat Buchanan called the cultural war when he made the speech in New Orleans in 1992. Mitch Daniels said, call a truce. He was castigated for it. But I learned now from the Hotline National Journal, I had a conversation with Josh Kroshauer, who runs the Hotline. This is a Bible for the political pros every morning, because it's a compendium of all the news that's happening all the time. Very useful. Costs a lot of money. If you get access to it, enjoy it. Josh tells me that all the other candidates, having stood back from Mitch Daniels when he made this truce remark, are now enjoying that truce. In other words, Mitt Romney, Tim Pawlenty, and Haley Barbour are talking finances, economy, national recovery, balancing the budget, deficits, state budgets. No one is talking abortion, gay marriage, don't ask, don't tell, all the other social issues. No one at the presidential level. That will probably be significant if it stands up. I don't know that it will, but if we see a presidential choice in 2012 in the Republican Party that turns on jobs, financial recovery, deficits, that evens the field for the 4 governors I gave you.